Welcome everybody to Bases and Brews, episode 29 with Ben and Brendan. This is our weekly podcast where we talk about baseball and here we stream the show live on twitch.tv/Bases and Brews every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Come give us a follow, watch us live over there. If you watch us live, you will get to see our post show. If you can't catch us live, go check us out on YouTube or podcast services. All of them except for Apple Podcasts. Um, just search for the channel Bases. Also follow us over on Twitter at Bases Brews to get some baseball news, updates about the podcast, things that we're doing. And yeah, how are you doing this week, man?
I'm doing all right. Another long week, but things are slowing down a little bit, at least at the moment. So I guess that's a bonus.
Yeah, it's always a good feeling.
Are you by chance peaking or something on your mic? It seems like it might be compensating. You keep kind of cutting in and out almost a little bit.
And turn it down just a little bit. Is that better?
I don't think so.
Okay. If it happens again, just let me know and I'll adjust my noise gate or something.
Yeah, I know. It was just kind of weird because you most of the time you're good, but every once in a while it would dip.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But you sound good now. So how have you been? How was your week?
Okay. Really stressful. Stressful you work week. But it is what it is. That's work.
I feel that. So what is on tap tonight?
Alright, so I'm doing another clean out the fridge night. I had this one, I want to say 2 weeks ago. It is the FML Hazy Double IPA from Stone Brewery. FML standing for Fear Movie Lion.
I remember that can.
It has the weird demon skull thing.
Yeah, I remember that can.
It's a cool can, and it's a pretty solid. It's not really very IPA flavored, but pretty good.
That's pretty dope.
What do you got on tap?
So I have Delirium Nocturnum.
Okay.
It's a Belgian ale. It is. Let's see if
Yeah.
I can. It is. I got it honestly because it was just a cool bottle, just like last week's.
It's just like a big white bottle.
It's a brown glass with a almost like a ceramic coating.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then it's
cool,
like these are just stickers on the outside, which is interesting.
Like it.
You could strip that down to just like that, like off-white, like ceramic coated bottle. It's actually really cool. I'm gonna keep the bottle.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's a darker beer than I thought, and I don't know how I feel about it yet. I've had like one or two sips, but I think I'm gonna have to live with it for a little bit and see how I feel.
Yeah, I've had those beers where you're like, I can't tell if it's good or not. But yeah.
Why don't we hop into some hot and cold?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna start off. We'll give the Cardinals their love.
Yeah.
Because
Cardinals have been hot as hell.
Insane, 13-game win streak, and I think the 13th was today, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or was it yesterday?
I believe so, because I got a notification yesterday that it was 12. So, and then I looked today and it was 13. So they must have had an afternoon game.
I thought it was today, because I thought it was like one of their doubleheader games today.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that they're insane right now. We'll get into it a little more. When we get to our
playoff
breakdown of the playoff races. But yeah, they're going crazy.
San Francisco, still the best team in baseball.
Yep, holding on to that 1-game lead.
99 games.
Yeah, pretty confident they'll hit 100.
Yeah, I think so.
I think 9 games.
9 games.
8 games left.
No, 9 games. 3 more series. We have. Well, maybe it is 8 now because they played Colorado. No, today's first game against Colorado.
They have 9 games.
9 games, yeah. 3 more series. So they're playing Colorado right now. Then they play the Diamondbacks, which hopefully they should win those games.
Yeah.
But then we end with the Padres.
Yeah. Are the Padres going to be pissed about the year? Or are they going to have given up on the year? Nobody knows.
I see. I don't know. Well, we might get into that a little bit with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I honestly don't know.
So I'm not too confident with their schedule going at the end. But at the same time, either way, they're in the playoffs, even if it's for the one game. Although, when we talk about the Cardinals, we'll talk about why that might not be a good thing.
True. That's a good point. But yeah, we'll get into matchups, stuff like that later. This is a fun one. I got a few players on the hot and cold today. Well, on the hot at least. Salvador Perez hit his 46th home run, tying him. He currently has a tie for first place on the home run leaderboard.
I thought 46 gave him first.
I think Vlad might have hit one today or late last night. Because I looked right before the podcast, and they both have 46.
Oh, you're talking about for this season. Okay, my bad.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, yes. Yeah. For this season, he is tied with Vlad for the home run lead. But yes.
I thought you were talking about the all-time stat.
Yeah. So, yeah, he has the most home runs by a catcher ever in a single season, which is nuts because there's been some home run hitting catchers. Like, not a ton, but there's been a few. So, yeah.
But I mean, 46 home runs is pretty nuts. You didn't see a lot of guys doing that, 10, 15,
I'm pretty
20
sure
years.
it was
well, maybe more like 20 years ago.
I think was the guy who had the record. I'm not sure. I'll double check that before.
I don't know that for sure. Because I think it was someone from longer ago.
I'll double check that while we're going through these, but yeah, it's either way good for him because Salvador Perez has been in the league for a little while now, and he's been really good all the time. Like, he's always been a good player, and it's time for him to get some recognition, I guess, because I feel like nobody ever really thinks of him when you think of good catchers in the league.
That's fair. He's not one that would have instantly popped up for me.
Yeah.
If I had thought about it, I probably would have got to him, but not right off the bat.
Yeah. Okay, I was wrong. It was Johnny Bench.
There you go. And he had 45, correct?
Apparently, he had 45. Johnny Bench apparently tweeted at Salvador Perez, which I'm going to be honest, I didn't know Johnny Bench was still alive, let alone on Twitter.
Hey.
But yeah, he tweeted at him in Spanish, and I don't know. Johnny Bench, I've seen interviews with him. He just always seemed like a cool guy. But yeah, that's huge. That's not one of those history breaking records where it's all these qualifiers where it's most home runs by a catcher over 40 or over 30 with none of that. It's just most home runs by any catcher ever.
Come on, we love those obscure stats.
I mean, no, I do.
That you can 100% create do for anybody.
Yeah, but I love those stats. Don't get me wrong, but this is one of those straight up. This is a record. This is one in the actual record book. So good for him. On Sunday night last week, Eddie Rosario, who the Indians traded at the deadline to Atlanta, hit for the cycle, which pretty sure that's the second one this year.
I was gonna say, I feel like we just were talking about someone hitting for the cycle a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was. I'll look it up, but
I'm pretty sure there's been at least one other this year. I'm trying to...
yeah, I agree.
But I didn't actually see this, but Adam Wainwright gets his 2000th K.
Yeah.
85th pitcher ever to get there. That seems kind of low for 2000
That's
Ks.
what I was going to say. Like, 2,000 strikeouts is impressive, but, like, I feel like it's not that insane.
I don't know. Trying to think of what you would have to average over the course of, like, say, a 15-year career to get that.
About 120 a year. That's a pretty good year.
Yeah, I would say that.
What's weird to me is that I never thought of Adam Wainwright as a strikeout pitcher.
No, not really. More of a workhorse kind of guy. He just goes up there and throws a lot.
Okay, so really quick to go back to the cycles. There's been 4 this year, actually.
Oh, damn.
Trey Turner hit one June 30th. Jake Cronenworth hit one July 16th. Freddie Freeman was the recent one we talked about, August 18th. And then Eddie Rosario.
August 18th. That was over a month ago. Damn, I didn't think it was that long ago.
Yeah, me neither. And then I pulled up Wainwright's stats. He had some insane years. He had 2 years back-to-back, 2009 and 2010, where he struck out 212 and then 213.
I mean...
And then he had another year he struck out 219.
That's a quarter of his strikeouts in 3 years.
Yeah. Pretty much. But yeah.
So,
I mean, he had 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, that is pretty nuts.
He had 5 other years where he was like over 150. So, including this year, he has 170 right now. So, I guess,
that's crazy.
Yeah, he's the average 162 game average for him is 170 for his 16-year career.
Whew. So, right around that is what they would need.
To answer your question, for 15 years, about 180.
Okay, fair enough.
Apparently, didn't know this. He also won a Silver Slugger in 2017. I mean,
okay,
you know, the pitchers somebody has to win as a pitcher, but
yeah, right.
It was him. But yeah,
that's kind of funny.
That's just a fun fact there. But yeah, 85 does seem insanely low.
That does, for how many pitchers there's been.
We'll get to another one I probably should have put on the hot cold, but we'll get to it in the news that I also thought was an insanely low number. But to close out hot and cold, we had Baltimore and Arizona still tied for the worst record after last week when they were also tied. So they are battling for that worst record.
That's
nine games left to play. Who's it?
Well, and it sucks because I think Arizona is playing the Dodgers right now, and then they play the Giants after the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, I don't know who's. Granted, Baltimore's probably playing AL East, which is tough as hell right now.
Fair.
But yeah. All right, so let's get into some news. We'll talk about these funny ones first. There's a couple of funny things that happened in baseball. I'm gonna post the links in Twitter or in the chat here. This is the first one. This is the Red Sox security guard. Some dude tried to streak on the field, or not streak, but run on the field, and literally didn't even make it to the foul line.
Dude, he got
jumped in the fans on the foul line and didn't make it to the foul line before he just got destroyed.
Okay, that was a good tackle. I'm not gonna lie. That That tackle
like,
was
sign
fire.
that dude up for some training camps. Like, he just comes
needs,
out of nowhere.
he needs to start a YouTube training program for other
Oh my
sideline
god!
security.
Right?
This is how you
Sideline security is so terrible.
The market's there, I'm sure.
Uh, it was funny.
And if you got that tackle on your resume, I mean, who's going to tell you suck?
Right? Yeah, it was really funny. Go check out that video on Twitter. Definitely worth a watch. And then here's the other one. This is Conor McGregor, the UFC / boxer, trying to throw a first pitch. Now, I'll give him a tiny bit of, I don't know, leeway here because he is not American and they don't really have any sports where you throw a ball in the UK. So I'll give him that. But you would think that somebody as athletic as Conor McGregor would have enough hand-eye coordination to throw a ball.
So throwing, like, it's a really funny thing because for someone like you or me who played, when did you start playing baseball?
4 years old.
Okay, I was as soon as I could.
5.
As soon as I could hold the ball, I was playing.
Yeah.
Well, I had older
that's
cousins that were playing, which is the only reason.
That's when I started playing like organized.
Okay, yeah, same
like,
here.
Yeah. When I was younger than that, I was holding baseballs, throwing like wiffle balls and stuff.
Yeah. So when you're used to doing that all the time, there's like just a certain muscle memory that naturally builds. Even if you're not good, even if you only did it for, till you were 10 or 11 and then you never played again, there's still a certain amount of muscle memory built up that would help you. Whereas someone who's never really thrown a ball, it's actually kind of a weird motion.
It is. And it's not natural, and it is very mechanical. Like, if your mechanics are off, you see major league pitchers lose pitches and like they fly out of their hand.
You see shortstops hit umpires in the face.
Did that happen this week? Because we didn't put that.
No, that was I think it was last week, and we just didn't talk about it.
Yeah, if anyone missed that, it was really funny and pretty terrible, but funny. Yeah, I forget who it was, but yeah, somebody threw the ball and lost it.
Yeah, instead of overthrowing, he just
by about 6 feet, at least, maybe more.
So bad.
But yeah, so Conor McGregor threw the ball. He's a lefty, which I didn't know. I don't watch fighting sports at all, so I
feel like I did know that,
but threw the ball from the left side, and it went about 20 feet wide of home plate to the right side. He threw the ball hard. I'll give him that. He did not try to ease it in there. He went for it. Just didn't pan out for him.
Well, he hit the backstop like right at the bottom too. It was funny.
Yeah. It was good. It was really funny.
It happens all the time though.
Yeah, but
you get athletes and stuff that go out there.
Bad one.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty bad. But you see people go out there all the time.
Yeah, at least 5 or 6 times a year. There's like a horrible first pitch.
And this is one of the ones this year. This will probably be at the top for this year.
Yeah, and then you have people like, what's her name? Simone Biles, the Olympian, the gymnast.
Oh, I don't know if I saw this.
Oh my God, she went out there and did like a flip into the splits and then threw the ball from the splits position and like threw a strike.
I'll have to go look that up. That sounds crazy.
There was what's the dude who's in Shang-Chi, the main character.
Yeah, he was. That was the game I was at.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Dude, he did like a flip off the mound and then threw.
Because it took me so long to find parking. I missed like the first half of the first inning, so I didn't get to actually see it. I only got to see it on the replay board, like when the first inning ended. I was so pissed.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Because you saw that movie, right?
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay,
For anyone who's a Marvel fan, and it's not really connected to the other ones. So like if you just want to see a good movie, this one doesn't really connect to the other ones. It's kind of a standalone origin story thing.
I dig it. I'm gonna have to check it out.
But yeah, so just a couple like funny things to lead off our news here. We got Vlad Jr. on the Triple Crown watch.
Ooh.
It's looking less and less likely at this point. Um,
I don't
it's
know, dude. They're playing good right now too, though.
yeah, but 10 RBIs in like 9 games to make up 10 RBIs is he's tied for the home run lead. He's .003 behind in the batting average,
Which is basically like one hit and one
well,
not at this
yeah,
point.
yeah, like one or two hits. He'd basically, if he goes like 3 for 4, pretty much would guarantee that he'd jump whoever's above him. I think Soto.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I'm pretty sure it's Juan Soto is above him. Yeah, yeah. Juan Soto 324, Vlad Jr. 321.
Jeez.
But
I like how
um,
I was bitching at the beginning of the year saying, people don't hit for average anymore. There's actually a lot
well,
of guys right now hitting over 300.
there are.
I would say there's
If you
probably
include the guys at 300, go ahead and take a guess. See where.
if we're including at 300, I would say 26.
Yeah,
How many?
lower.
Ooh, a lot lower.
Yeah,
So I'd probably go down to like 18.
yep, exactly
Yeah.
18.
That's what I was feeling originally, but I was like, no, I got a little more faith that there's a few more in there.
Number 18 at 300, Brandon Crawford.
That's my guy.
Holding on.
Uh,
But yeah, so I he might get 2 of the 3. I don't think he'll get the RBIs. I think there's just not enough time left.
that's not a far reach. But man, were
He
we right.
he's like there's like 6 people ahead of him in the RBIs. He'd have to jump to.
Oh, damn. So there's a lot of people up there.
Yeah, I have the stats up here. He's 5th right now. Uh, Rafael Devers for Boston is 1 ahead of him. Adam Duvall for Atlanta is 4. Oscar Hernandez in Toronto is 5. Jose Abreu is 8, and then Salvador Perez is 10. So
Jeez.
he's got some ground to make up. I doubt he does it, especially the way Perez is hitting.
Well, yeah, because he's got to make those up. It's not like he's just got to get 10
Right,
RBIs.
right. The odds at this point that Salvador Perez doesn't have any RBIs in the last 9 or 10 games, whatever they have left, is slim.
I mean, I guess it's possible, but very unlikely.
Right. But yeah, it would be cool. Like anytime anyone gets some historic feat like that, it's pretty awesome.
We had a good call on him though at the beginning of the year.
On Vlad, yeah, we
Yeah.
both picked him as like, I think we both said he was our MVP favorite, and we both picked Toronto to
To,
get to the World Series because of him.
and that's a possibility that they can still make it, I think. I don't think they're
Yeah,
statistically out yet.
they're not. We'll get into it. I have it all written down, but they're not. But we'll get into it in a minute. All right. So speaking of historic things, Cedric Mullins for Baltimore of all places joined the 30 for 30 club, which is 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases. He's the first Baltimore player in like I think they've been around 67 years. It said, which honestly I thought Baltimore was an older team than that. But,
I did too, actually.
yeah, they might have been, but they might have changed their name maybe,
Maybe.
or like whatever the team was left and went somewhere else, and then they got the Orioles. I don't really know, but first Baltimore player ever to join the 30-30 club. And this is the one that I said earlier was a surprisingly low number for me. 43rd player ever in the 33rd. That seems so low.
Yeah, but you got to think back in the day, Like pre-99, if you were a power hitter, you weren't a base stealer.
I mean, I get that, but
Like there weren't a lot of like Fernando Tatises and guys that, hit for power but also were really fast.
I don't actually know if Fernando Tatis is at a 30-30 season.
I don't think he has, but I think he has the potential. Like he's more
Oh
than
yeah,
fast enough.
for sure. If he stays healthy.
Yeah. Like I think he's just skill wise, I think he's someone who could be a 30-30 guy. I don't know if there's, like you said, there's not many of them.
Highest. Okay, well. All right, I guess this is technically the first full season for Fernando Tatis, which is kind of ridiculous when you think of the money he's making.
Yeah, I think we talked about that a while ago.
We have, yeah. But so this year in his first full season, 25 stolen bases, 40 homers. So like definitely has the ability, and he missed a good chunk of the year. He went on the IL like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, so he'll be a part of that club at some point.
Yeah,
but there weren't a lot of guys like that. It was
yes.
If you were, what's up?
No, I just said I guess
Well, I mean,
I would have expected more recent players.
Well, maybe more recently, but then again, like a lot of the home run hitters recently are guys like Pete Alonso, who can hit the shit out of the ball, but he's not stealing you bases. I mean, at least not many. I think he's got a few.
Maybe.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, though. That's kind of the stereotypical, outside of the young guys.
So, damn, I wish these had numbers. Looks like about close to 2/3 of the players in the 30-30 club have been since 1997. So basically, in the last like 25 years, has been 2/3 of the players. So like, yeah, what you're saying makes sense. There's been most recently was Jose Ramirez, Mookie Betts, and Christian Yelich, and Ronald Acuna.
And those probably all happened within the last like 3 years.
Well, yeah, I mean, last year doesn't count because there was no chance anyone was doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
But 2019 was Acuna and Yelich. 2018 was Ramirez and Mookie Betts. And then actually there wasn't anyone before that until 2012 when Ryan Braun and Mike Trout did it.
I would have thought Mike Trout would have had more than just that one.
I mean, he might have. No, he didn't.
That seems a little weird to me. But then again, he's never really been like a big base stealer. Like he can steal bases, and he's not slow, but he's not someone I would probably classify as fast.
He can steal. I feel like his base stealing percentage is probably high.
Because I think he's got good baseball IQ. I think he knows when he can and can't steal.
Right. Exactly. That's what I mean.
That's what was always fun watching. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that was always fun watching my younger brother play baseball, especially when he got to like the pony level where they could actually lead off and steal, because he was short and fat. But almost every time he stole, he made it, because he just knew when he could and couldn't go.
Right.
And it was just funny watching him try.
Mike Trout has stolen over 30 bases twice. The one year he got the 30-30 club. The other year he had 30 stolen bases and 29 home runs.
Oh, that sucks.
And then, I mean, he basically hits over 30 home. That was the only year he did hit 30 home runs. He's had 2 years. Not counting his rookie year or last year or this year, because those...
Well, he's been hurt all year.
Those count. Yeah, and last year was a short year, and his rookie year he only played 40 games, so...
Yeah, that's basically like a short year.
Yeah, so, yeah. If you take out those 3 years, he's hit 30 home runs all but one season, and it was the year he would have gotten another 30-30 if he would have hit one more.
Damn.
But
yeah,
I don't...
But people don't always recognize him as the best player in baseball.
I feel like anybody who really knows baseball knows Mike Trout is the best player in baseball.
You think even still people would say that over like the Fernando Tatis
Uh,
and the Francisco Lindors and
I mean, I don't think Francisco Lindor will ever be like the best player in baseball.
well, I don't think so either. But people talk about him
But
in the same breath.
yeah, I feel like, I mean, people have always said he's the best defensive player, which I would argue more. But um, like there, Fernando Tatis and Mike Trout are significantly ahead of Lindor. But anyway, it depends if Mike Trout can get healthy again. Then I think Mike Trout is still the best player. But there's definitely some really good young players who could challenge him.
Yeah, I don't know if I like. I'm kind of torn. I'd be walking the fence on that one because
Yeah, exactly.
if these injuries become more prevalent and this starts happening more and he keeps getting banged up and missing parts of seasons, then I don't think he'll ever be that guy anymore. But if he gets back,
Yeah.
comes back healthy, like nothing happened, I think he goes back to being one of the best players, if not the best player in baseball.
Yeah. I mean, especially like when you have guys coming up um like Tatis and Acuna and guys like that who are arguably close to as good as Trout, or as close as we've seen since Mike Trout's been in the league, or Shohei Ohtani even.
Yeah, we'll see how that keeps playing out.
Yeah, but like
He's insane though right now.
yeah, if Trout continues to get hurt and these guys keep performing at the level they're expected to, then I think you could make the argument that he's the best player in baseball anymore.
Which, I mean, even if that was the case, he was, what, the best player in baseball for 9 years,
decade.
10 years? Like,
I mean, he's been in the league 11 years, and he's basically been the best player since day one, so.
all right, let's get back.
Yeah.
But that is kind of low. 43 seems a little bit low for 30-30s. I figured there'd be a little more, but maybe not a ton more.
Yeah. I would have guessed it would have been closer to like 80, 75, 80. But,
Maybe.
we kind of got away from injury news. It just wasn't interesting to talk about, but I did want to mention this. Wander Franco, the Rays rookie, is coming back tonight. The only reason I wanted to mention it is because he's 4 games away from tying the rookie on base streak.
Oh, that's right.
Consecutive games reaching base. He's at 39, I believe, and the record is 43. Also, like, that's the longest streak in baseball this year too. Like, it's not just the rookie, right? Like, has
It's
the
pretty
longest
insane.
streak in all of baseball.
Damn.
Yeah, the dude's ridiculous, and I really hope he breaks it too.
So he could totally break it this year, too, because they've got, what, 8 games left?
8 or 9. Everybody's between like 8 and 10 games right now.
That's kind of what I figured.
But yeah, so he's coming back. He did a couple rehab, and they said he has no limitations coming back. He's going to be playing every day.
Nice.
He'll have the opportunity to break that record if he can keep getting on base. Then yeah, to close it out, talk about the Padres breakdown, and which is what led to Manny Machado yelling at Fernando Tatis.
Arguably the worst season imaginable for them, because they're probably not making the playoffs, right? With how hot St. Louis is, I don't think they catch back up.
We'll talk about the gaps in a minute, but yeah, they're pretty much not gonna make it.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they'd need a miracle.
But you saw what this was about, though. Tatis was all but hurt that he struck out on a called strike.
Which it was definitely a strike, by the way.
Yeah, like it was a good
if you
call.
watch it, 100% a strike.
So that's kind of what my thing was. Is it's like, okay,
It's one of those things where, like, I mean, all players do it, where they get pissed at the ump on like a borderline call, even if it is a strike on the box.
honestly,
it's
that box is fucked half of the time anyway.
Well, okay. Here's side note. Here's the issue with the box is that the box never changes.
It doesn't.
So when Aaron Judge is in the box versus when like I can't think of versus Jose Altuve, the box is the same size.
And in the same
But those guys
place.
are like a foot and a half taller or height difference. So like one goes up to the dude's neck and one is at the dude's like waist. So I, the box isn't.
The
That's
box
the
is
issue.
broken.
That's the issue with going to an automated strike call.
Hashtag fix the box.
That could be a totally different hashtag. Maybe don't start that hashtag.
Oh, it's terrible.
Anyway.
No, but you're right. I always have hated that. It always drives me nuts.
So that's always been my issue with like I'm all for getting rid of the home plate umpire or at least ball and strike calls, but you have to have a different system than what's currently in place to do that.
I would agree.
But anyway.
But yeah, so he was bitching, and then Machado was basically just yelling at him, telling him he's the best player in baseball, so shut the fuck up and go play.
Right.
Which I kind of get.
Like, he was like, "It's over. You can't change it. We need you because we suck right now. You're the best player in baseball, and we need you. So go play baseball."
And it's interesting because it's basically him telling him like, "Why are you like? What does it matter? You're the best player in baseball. Like no one cares."
Yeah.
Because honestly, do you hear anybody like criticizing Fernando Tatis, other than the fact that he kind of threw a little tantrum?
Yeah.
Like if he doesn't throw that tantrum, even if that strikeout happens the same, and he just nothing happens. Like no one like goes after Tatis because he struck out.
No, it was the weird part of it was that he was screaming at him at the top of his lungs that he was getting. And he was like, it was loud enough that he was being recorded on a phone
it was
by somebody in the stands, and you could clearly hear him.
Well, he didn't look like he was that far away. He looked like he was in one of like the premier seats right next to the dugouts.
But still, but like screaming at him, but like not really mad at him. Like he wasn't really mad. He was just like yelling, like complimenting him, basically.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He was like yelling at him with how good he is.
Yeah, it was a weird thing, and like it kind of goes to the fact that the Padres are kind of falling apart, and I feel like that's probably why Tatis kind of lost his shit for a minute because like he's just frustrated, and I totally get it. I probably would be too.
Well, yeah, because now the teams it's a weird dynamic when the team is losing and you're doing well. You're like, yeah, this sucks, but like. It is what it is. But then when that like losing starts to seep into your game and you're not playing well, and then you're like, fuck, man. Because like when shit, I mean, I'm not saying he is, but like players, I'm sure in a lot of ways think of like they're always auditioning for other teams. They're always putting, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's not, because he's there for the next 14 years.
But you know what I mean, though. You're always auditioning for the next contract. You're always you always need those chips in the bank. Yeah. And I don't think any player wants to suck. So when it starts to like actually affect their game, that's when they start to kind of lose it a little bit, especially young players.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is like Tatis is like 21. I think 22.
You just said this is like his first full 162 season.
Right. So I get it, and I would be frustrated with that team too if I was on it. It's not like you can like say anything to your teammates. It's not like you can yell at your teammates and be like, I'm pulling my weight. Like, where the fuck are you guys? Yeah. Like, you can't really say that to your team. Like,
that's terrible to do to your teammates, but
right. Like, you could think it, but like you can't say that out loud.
I'm sure there's a lot of players that have done that, though.
Oh, I'm sure. There's a lot of players who don't give a shit about their teammates.
Facts. But that is 100% true.
But yeah, that could be a list. Worst teammates in baseball history.
Ooh, that would be a tough one. I bet you there's quite a few.
Or worst teammates in our lifetime.
Maybe.
Like you could go back to like when the league was being integrated, and
We'll talk about that in
obviously
a
there
little
was
bit
some
because I think
terrible
that might
things,
not be a
but
bad idea. But yeah,
yeah.
no, I thought
But
it
I
was
mean,
weird as hell too. I just
yeah,
I was like, why are you yelling this at him?
yeah.
Like,
It was weird, and it was just kind of, I don't know.
well, I don't know, and it's
Like,
weird
okay,
to me for Machado to try to be the one that's being the
yeah.
leader.
I was just gonna talk about that in an interview after the game. He's like, I'm trying to think. So obviously not an exact quote here, but it was basically he was like, I've always been the young guy, and I've kind of done whatever I wanted, and I've had older players yell at me and put me in my place. And he's like, now I'm kind of the older player. I'm a veteran now, so like that's kind of on me to be that vocal leader and say something to the younger guys. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know that Machado is the right player to be a leader, but what he said makes sense.
I mean, that's true.
Like if it was anybody else, I would be like, yeah, that totally makes sense. But then I'm like, Manny Machado's just a dick.
I don't
Like,
know. I have my reservation. I don't like Machado.
yeah,
I
I,
I
I've never really liked him. He's a
I'm I'm,
really good baseball player,
I'm not
but
gonna say it, but I just don't like him.
yeah. But anyway, but yeah, so like I totally understand that from his point of view. If he wants to be that vocal leader, like, but it was just a weird. Like, if you're gonna call a guy out, one, don't do it in the dugout where everyone can hear you. Go down into the tunnel,
Or just
and
don't yell.
two, well, yeah. But even then, people still see you on camera, like whatever, like holding his shoulders and like talking to him, whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
but
just
that's
go down in the tunnel and talk or yell, whatever. But
but
I don't know.
see, I'm okay with seeing that though. Like I don't see the problem in like if he says that exact same thing, but he just says it to him where nobody can hear him, even if you can see him like stopping him like that's fine. Like we don't need to know, but like that's him being that's like I don't know, it's like almost keeping like what they're talking about and like how he's trying to lead to themselves. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I guess I don't have as much of a problem with this. It's when players like chew other players out in the dugout that I haven't like this wasn't really that. So like I don't have a problem with this specific
It was just
scenario.
kind of build that way though.
Right. All the headlines build it that way. And even after the game, Machado and Tatis were like, "Yeah, we're cool." Like no nobody really said
Well,
anything
I mean,
bad to
why are
each
you going to be
other.
mad at someone telling you you're the best player in baseball?
Right, exactly. It was weird. But again, if Machado wants to be a leader, like not necessarily the wrong things to say to a young player,
You're right. You're right. It's true.
but yeah. So yeah, that's the news for the week.
Oh man,
So
so
all
much good
right,
stuff.
it was a lot. It was funny because I started it and I only had the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. stuff, and then I was like, stuff just kept like popping up, and I'm like, oh yeah, that happened this week.
All right, let's
But
get into this big topic.
all right,
Let's
so yeah, we're gonna talk about some the playoff races in the last week and a half of the season, basically. So all right, first team. We'll just get these out of the way. Well, the White Sox were the first team to clinch their division. They won the AL Central first time since 2008, mostly because the Indians win it every year. Uh, and then Tampa Bay, Milwaukee, San Francisco, and the Dodgers have all clinched a playoff berth. San Francisco and LA clinched before last week.
They were the first two teams.
Yeah. Um, Tampa Bay and Milwaukee were both this week. But so 5 teams have clinched their playoff berth out of 10. 2 wild cards and 3 division winners.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I'm so glad they're not doing the expanded playoffs. That was so dumb last year, having like the top two teams from each division and two wild cards. Like, it's
Yeah,
too
it
much.
was it
Baseball
was a lot.
shouldn't
It was
be that.
basically half the league.
Yeah, they went for the basketball playoffs, and it was bad.
I don't think it works for baseball. It works for basketball. I don't think it works for baseball.
I don't like it in basketball either.
I don't.
Basketball's even worse now because now they have the stupid play-in game, so it's like 20 of the 30 teams make the playoffs. It's fucking dumb. Like the regular season literally means nothing in basketball. Anyway, all right, so we'll get into the juicy stuff here, because that stuff is all like, it's done, it's over. We know who's in. All right, so the NL is a little bit boring, honestly.
Really?
The the only thing in the NL that's really not fully decided is who's gonna win the NL West, which is exciting, but like that's the only thing not really up for grabs right now.
You realize there are two teams in the same division that are on pace to win 105 games.
But yeah, but that's not payoff.
That's
And both
insane.
those teams, yeah, I mean it is, but that's not like playoff
Oh,
based. It
no.
is. I'm not disagreeing with you.
No, but you said that the only thing exciting, there's nothing really exciting
Well,
in that
no,
division. I'm like, are you
as far
kidding
as
me?
the
That's
no,
insane.
as far as the playoff race goes.
Well, it's technically part of it.
I mean, I guess, but like,
Because that's a huge thing, because whoever wins that division doesn't have to deal with that one game
yeah,
playing,
right. Which, yeah. So
which is going to be against one of the hottest teams in baseball,
most
most
likely.
likely.
So yeah, the currently San Francisco has a 1 game lead in the West, which means the Dodgers have the top spot in the wild card by 14 games, which is nuts. And then St. Louis has the second spot, and with 9 games left, they have a 5 game lead over Philly. So that's pretty much a lock,
I would say probably,
especially
especially
with the way St. Louis is playing.
well, in San Diego has to come and end the season in San Francisco.
No, San Diego's in fourth, fifth place in the wild card right
Oh, are
now.
they? Are they that
San
far out?
Diego's 6.5 out
Oh shit.
of the second wild card slot.
Oh
They're
damn.
done. Yeah. So I have it here. Yeah. So St. Louis has the second spot.
Oh
Philly is
okay. Okay.
5 back. Cincinnati is 6 back, and then San Diego is 6.5. So like to make up 5 games in a 9 game stretch is pretty unrealistic.
St. Louis would have to literally collapse.
They'd have to lose every game, and Philly would have to win almost every game.
Pretty much.
Like if
Eesh.
St. Louis wins like 3 games, it's over. Like mathematically over.
So their magic number is 3 for it.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
I'm not positive exactly, but so yeah, that's why I'm saying the NL isn't like super exciting, because like the wild card's pretty much established. The NL Central and NL East are pretty much set. Um, it's literally just which team's gonna win the NL West and which team's gonna have the top wild card slot is the only like race still up for debate.
I guess it's
Is
true.
what I That's what I mean by like boring. Is there's only like one thing that could still.
Yeah, but that one thing is so big with
It
just with how
is.
many wins they have, just because it's going to be
Yeah,
nuts.
I don't disagree with that. Like it's important, but it's not like a huge exciting thing for like a fan that's of not one of those teams.
I guess that's true.
Because like whichever one of those teams wins is or loses is still going to make the playoffs as the home team for the wild card game. So,
That's true.
but I mean, it's still cool. Like the NL West is super exciting to watch right now because of that. But pretty much all of the rest of the NL is not great. there is a small chance Philly could win the NL East. The Atlanta has like a 3 game lead over them right now,
Okay.
so like it's not real likely. But even 3 games in a 9 game stretch is a lot, and I unless they play each other, I
Unless
actually
they just
don't
get
know.
lucky.
Yeah. Um,
That does
Philly's
happen.
schedule. Oh, okay. Philly and the Braves do play. So
Oh,
if it's three
okay.
games or less, could they could make that ground up if they can sweep the Braves. So I take it back. That division is up for grabs.
See, not so boring.
I wasn't like throwing shade at the NL. I was just like, pretty much everything's set in the
It's
NL.
just
There's just
I'm just dumbfounded with the Giants this year. If they win percentage wise, they're gonna win 105, and I think set a Giants all time season record.
bam.
Because I think their season record is 103. I think
Yeah,
currently.
that would be so they'd have to win 5 of 9.
Yeah, they'd have to win. Well,
That's
six of
not that
nine.
up.
They'd have to
You
be.
said they're at 99, right?
They're at
So
99
they'd
and they
have
have
to
nine
get to
games left.
104. So that would only be 5 of
Well, yeah, to set the record, but I think they're gonna get 105.
Okay. Well, yeah, with the teams they have left to play, they should get.
The Padres are gonna
should
be
get
tough because
5 or
they could
6
just
wins.
want to play spoiler, and they're a good enough team that they have the
Yeah.
ability to do that.
Oh, for sure.
So I don't know. Don't know if we kind of were talking about it a little bit before. I don't know if they give up or if they just come out and like
Yeah.
just want a ball because they're out. Like they're not gonna make
Right.
the playoffs.
Their magic number is like 2. Like if they lose 2 or if St. Louis wins 2, they're done for the year.
Yeah.
Their
So
season mathematically out of the playoffs. So
I don't
yeah,
know.
not super likely. But yeah, so we will move to the AL, where pretty much everything's set, but the wild card is insane.
Well, I feel like we've been talking about that wild card for the last like month.
We have, well, yeah, and just by bringing up records and stuff, like, yeah, it's been pretty crazy. So there's basically 5 teams in the wild card race right now. So Boston has the number 1 slot by 2 games over the Yankees. So the Yankees have the number 2 slot. Toronto is 1 game behind them. Seattle, who somehow overtook Oakland, which I didn't know that was happening,
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
is 2 games out, and then Oakland is 4 games out. So, like, basically, there's 5 teams within a 6-game span. For the between the number 1 seed and the Oakland A's, and then everyone else is eliminated from the playoffs in the AL.
The A's haven't been playing well at all. They're 5-5 in their last 10,
Yeah,
and the Mariners are
Boston's
7-3.
yeah. Boston. Tampa Bay is pretty much locked up the NL or AL East. The White Sox have won the AL Central. Houston basically has the AL West, so like the division winners are pretty much set. None of them besides the White Sox have clinched, but they're all like 6 games up for Tampa, 7 games up for Houston. So like
That's most
pretty much
likely over.
set.
Statistically, not over yet, but it will be in the next couple days.
Right. But yeah. So we'll see. It's and like the weird part, the crazy part is that like all those teams are playing really good. Like Boston 8-2, Yankees 7-3, Toronto's only 5-5, but then Seattle's 7-3. Like
I want Toronto to make it, but that's just
I do
because
too.
we both picked them before the season started. But
yeah,
can we talk about those jerseys? Did you not see those yellow fucking jerseys that Boston was wearing?
well that's like their Boston Strong jerseys that you're talking about.
Is that what that
They're
is?
like yellow and like light blue.
I don't know. I was watching the game and I just saw bright ass yellow.
Was that today?
No, I think it was yesterday or the day before. Might have been in the last series.
Oh, I see them. They kind of look. They look like the Brewers jerseys, honestly.
Oh my god, it was terrible. It's like, what am I
Yeah,
looking
it's.
at here?
I swear that these are like Boston strong. They wore these like after the bombing of the Boston Marathon
Oh,
because they're like the Boston city colors or something.
damn it! Now I feel like an asshole.
Well, no, I mean they're not great jerseys, but I'm not positive that's what these are, but they definitely did look like this.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan. I don't like the bright yellow,
No, they're not the best.
especially for Boston, whose colors are like such dark colors, typically.
Um, I'm trying to look what the jerseys were. Didn't really say.
Ooh. MVP voting. Do you have any ideas?
I mean, AL MVP has to be either Vlad or Shohei. Like,
I mean, I think it has to be Shohei,
me
unless
too.
the only way that Vlad I think can take it is if he wins the Triple Crown, which
Agreed.
I think we both are in agreement. I don't think he's gonna do.
No, I don't. I think he's a little too far back.
So, I think it like that's locked up with Otani.
Yeah, I think so too.
The National League is interesting though.
Yeah, I mean, you have the obvious ones, or Tatis.
I can't believe with
Um,
how much he missed, he's still.
I don't think he'll win it. I think he's missed too much, but he's up. He had a really good year for how much he played.
I know,
Um,
right?
Juan Soto's up there. Juan Soto's had a
I think
really
Trey
good year.
Turner's up there too.
Trey Turner's up there.
And I think Harper. I think it's Harper,
I've
Turner, and
heard
Soto going for the batting title for the National League.
I've heard people saying like Bryce Harper is probably the favorite, which is funny because like 3 or 4 weeks ago we talked about Bryce Harper and we were like, we haven't heard anything from Bryce Harper since he got traded,
Well,
and
I
now he's
think
like a favorite to win the NL.
no. I think I think like a month ago, I said that he might be a sleeper pick for MVP.
Maybe it was a little longer than
Might have
that.
been longer than that ago
There was
because
at some point in the year where we were
I
like,
think it
I
was
don't
one of
even
the
know what Bryce
overrated,
Harper.
underrated lists, and
You might be right.
I think I had said I think I had him a little underrated right now, even though maybe at one point he was overrated. And I think at that point I had said I think he might be a sleeper candidate
Yeah.
for
Also,
MVP.
didn't realize this. Boston's 8-2 in their last 10, but they've won 7 in a row.
Damn, that's hot.
So that's why they have the top spot in the wild card right now.
Hey, I mean, baseball sometimes is
Seattle's won 5 in a row.
about getting lucky and playing good at the right time.
Yeah.
It's not always having the best team. Sometimes it's just playing good at the right time.
I'll say this. The one thing, the biggest phrase in baseball that's always irritated me is in the middle of a season, everyone's like, oh, it's just one game. And I'm like, you're right. But how often at the end of the year does it come down to just one game? Like,
Well, it's just one game right now.
right. But then at the end of the year, you're like, every game matters. And it's like, well, if you would have won 2 or 3 of those just one games in the middle of the year, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, but at the same point, with how many games they
Yeah.
play, you can't stress out. I think the idea of that is like just don't stress. It's like it's one of
Yes.
162.
I get that. I understand the point of it. I've just never liked the way
The word,
it's said.
the wording of it, and you're right. The way it's said does. You can see where you definitely take it that way.
It's frustrating because I'm like, yes, it is one game, but if you win 2 or 3 of those, then like at the end of the year, you don't have to worry about winning the last game of the year or whatever. Like,
Oh, that's funny.
but,
Okay, so between Turner, Soto, Harper, and who was the other guy you had?
I said Tatis, but he's not really
Who
gonna win it.
Who would be yours?
Um, I'd probably go Soto.
I'm going with the real MVP, Brandon Crawford.
Brandon Crawford is not going to win the MVP.
No, but at
Your
one
coach
point,
will 100% win Coach of the Year.
no, at one point
question.
he was on
That's
pace.
already a lock.
Like right around the All-Star break, he was on pace, but he came out and had like a 50 game or something like that.
He was leading the league in batting for a little bit.
He was for a while.
Like he was batting like almost 330, I want to say. And then he fell off. But
he just had a really bad 2/3 of the second half. Like he's picked it back up, I think, recently, but yeah, it was kind of rough for a while.
Yeah, I think you guys will definitely have Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really any question. I would say GM of the Year, but you guys didn't really do anything.
Oh, yeah, they did. There's a lot of guys on our team that weren't there last year. I
guess. But, okay, if you guys and the Dodgers finish close together, I feel like picking up Max Scherzer and Frazier, or no, Frazier was the Padres.
Yeah, but that's just
up somebody else
people.
at the deadline. I mean, that's what you did with Chris Bryant.
But to be honest, Chris Bryant that was like a lateral upgrade.
Yeah.
That wasn't even like an actual upgrade in my opinion.
Oh, but that's what I mean. Like Max Scherzer is a big upgrade.
I don't know.
It's tough because you're not wrong, and also the same thing as I said about you guys. Like the Dodgers didn't really add a bunch of players in the offseason. No. They added Trevor Bauer, who hasn't pitched.
Who won't pitch? They're actually thinking about him not pitching for a while.
Yeah. Interesting story. I think I told you my boss's son is best friends with Trevor Bauer. Mm-hmm. And apparently Trevor Bauer was in the Dodgers stadium last week, Saturday. And my boss was apparently he's coming back. People are freaking out. And it turns out that he was there to clean his locker out or something, but there was a bunch, multiple people were tweeting about it.
That's funny.
And then that was right before they announced that he was not going to come back this year.
Yeah. But it sucks in only the sense of it would be kind of nutty to see their full pitching rotation at full strength. Disgusting. It's literally disgusting.
They have. All right. Assuming Bauer didn't get in trouble and kept on the pace he was on, and then you have Kershaw and Scherzer. That's at least 2, potentially 3 Hall of Famers.
And then you add the young guy Walker Buehler.
And you got Buehler. And then what's their 5th guy? I can't remember.
Urias.
Yeah. I can never remember his name. There's too many good pitchers on that team to. But yeah, those 2 guys are both incredible. And then you cap it off with the 2, potentially 3 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
It's God damn, that's not fair. And honestly, Clayton Kershaw is probably the worst of those 5 pitchers right now.
Probably at this moment. Yeah, you're probably right.
Between him and Urias.
Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know. He came out the other day and threw 4 innings, and I think he got 8 strikeouts or something like that. He had a pretty.
I went to a game where the Dodgers played at Cleveland just because he was pitching.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see Clayton Kershaw pitch. It did not disappoint. It was him versus.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It was him versus Corey Kluber.
Ooh.
And it was 5 years ago when Corey Kluber was at the top of his game. Oh my God, it was such a good game. It was a 2-1 game, and both pitchers got 12 strikeouts or something.
Damn.
It did not disappoint. But
any other playoff race stuff? Anything else?
No. All right. Who do you hope makes it? Who would be your okay, let me rephrase. Of the teams not currently in it, who would be your one team in the AL, one team in the NL who you wish would make it, even if it's not likely?
I want Oakland to get there. I think Toronto will get there, but I'd like Oakland. I'd love to see Toronto and Oakland both in there. But if you're talking a team that I did like isn't in it, but I'd like to
Oakland's
see,
fine.
I'd go with Oakland.
Okay.
National League. Ooh. Of the teams that are close but out, I'd probably go with Cincinnati.
Yeah. Those would Toronto and Cincinnati would probably be my two. Cincinnati is just like they're one of those teams no one really talks about, but they've been really good this year.
Yeah.
They had several players who were ridiculous. Nick Castellanos was insane this season.
Bro, he was nuts this year. He killed us earlier in the year. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
He's been good for a few years now, but yeah, he's not like a household name or anything. I feel like part of that is because he's on Cincinnati.
Yeah. That's very true. That's very true.
Hasn't really been relevant for a while. But
and then you got the old man who's going to be retiring. Isn't Votto? Yeah, isn't he retiring? Didn't he announce it?
I don't think.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. There's been a couple people recently that I've heard are retiring. Not necessarily all baseball related. Some basketball I actually want to talk to you when we're done with this about.
I mean, look, because he is older.
I thought he did. I thought he said this was going to be his last year. Because like I thought he did it like very nonchalant, like it wasn't a big deal. It was just like it came out.
20 days ago, Joey Votto quote says he'll be disappointed if he retires without winning a World Series with the Reds. So probably not retiring.
Yeah, probably nothing. Because I don't think they're getting to the World Series. I don't even think they're going to make it.
No.
Okay, that's fair. I might have been thinking of someone else.
Yeah, I mean, I know maybe because they both wear red jerseys, Yadier Molina said he was retiring.
I don't think I'd make that big of a crossover.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I may make some crossovers. I don't know about that. That's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna end us here. Unless there's anything else you want to add.
Nope.
All right, everybody. Thank you for coming and watching another episode of Bases and Brews. If you're watching with us live at twitch.tv/Bases and Brews, thank you. We love you guys. If you want to check out any of our previous episodes, they're all on YouTube. Just search up Bases and Brews podcast, and all of our previous episodes will be there. We are on episode 29 already. We're getting up there.
The big 3-0 next week.
I know, right? It's going to be a fun one. If you're listed on any services, any of the podcast services, Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and you want to come check us out live, we record this every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/Bases and Brews. We'd love for you to come on out. After every single show, we do a post show. So if you're here live, you can chat with us a little bit more and talk some baseball or any other sport you may have on the brain. But on that note, everyone have a great week, and we will see you guys next week for another episode of Bases and Brews.
Later.